Russo Italiano sponsors Boxing Bros UK.
It's showtime!
Hello everybody, this is Boxing Bros UK. I am Here's the Boss, Chris. It's my co-host, Andrew the Boxing Brain. And topic of today is Piers Morgan, Conor Benn.
The box office smash. Ben Eubank on Piers Morgan. Promoting the fuck out of this, aren't they? Fuck me.
You know, I'm a 147 fighter, he's a 160 fighter, and our paths just happened to cross. You talk about the stars align. You could say that.
Chris, for you, I mean, I've interviewed your dad at length, and he had some extraordinary fights, not just with his dad, but with people like Michael Watson, who ended up in a wheelchair. I was ringside when Nigel Benn fought Gerald McLennan, who ended up in a wheelchair. This is a brutal sport. People have died in the ring. People have been left paralysed by fighting. When you have a hatred that's as real as this, does that play on your mind?
I don't hate this man. I would never give him that type of power over me. I hate what he stands for. I hate what he did. I hate what he represents. But as him as a person, I'm not going to say I hate him. I'm not giving him that power over me. I don't hate anybody. I've just got to make sure that we set an example here. You know, what he did in failing these 2 drugs tests, in my opinion, is unacceptable. As you said, people have been paralyzed, people have died. So for anybody who is out there thinking to cheat, they have to be made an example of. They have to be.
I think he'll talk about Blackwell in a minute, won't he? If you've got that bit.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Yeah, only he knows for sure.
Right.
Oh.
No. Yeah. He's really grinding Conor Benn there about the steroid thing. And he's bringing out all the classic, you can kill people if you take steroids, people die in boxing, it's dangerous. And Conor Benn hasn't really got anything to say back to that apart from, I'm innocent.
No. I mean, to be honest, I felt like Chris Eubank Jr. sort of controlled this interview, even at times over Piers Morgan. He said, let me talk. And he was just keeping calm and collected. I think he was getting under Conor's skin. I think he kind of owned this interview. And I don't know, I kind of become a little bit, I think they both had some good moments in the interview, but he talks about Blackwell in a minute, and that was quite interesting, weren't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit close to home.
For sure. Right, get back to it. Oh, this is...
And our paths just happened to cross. You talk about the stars align. You could
cheat. They have to be made an example of. They have to be.
Yeah, and only he knows for sure. But the reality is that all the interrogatory bodies have cleared him to fight in this fight with you. So you might think he's a cheat, and you're perfectly entitled to your view. But the reality is, if he was a convicted cheat, he wouldn't be able to fight you. So do you accept that for the purposes of your fight, that he's not a convicted cheat? He's someone that you might think he is, but he's not been convicted of that.
Whether he's been convicted or not is irrelevant. The fact is, substances were found in his system.
Single one, every single one. I've not received a fine. I've been cleared by 3 organisations, by the NADP, the WBC, UCAD, no ban, cleared to fight, no fine.
It's not good.
That's
enough.
what I've done. I don't care if it's good
But
enough.
that is true, whether you like it or not. That is the truth of where we are.
That very
If
well
that's
may
your
well
argument,
be.
you need to do better. It's a pathetic
But
argument.
there are plenty of fighters even now in boxing today that have failed drugs tests. They've been fined or served bans, and then they've been let back into the ring. This is in no way different. He got caught. He went out of boxing for a little bit, spent $1 million trying to
That's
clear
why
his
you're-
name.
You know what? That's why you're an idiot.
No.
Because I've been cleared by 3 organisations,
care.
by people a lot.
Wait, just pausing it there. Whee! Hello?
Yeah,
Are you there?
yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you reckon to that? Like, he keeps saying that he's clean, but was it if it was in his system, whether it was an accident or not? What do you think of that? Is he at fault, or how does it work?
It's a really complicated one because I can see it from both points of view. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you know, Chris Eubank Jr. did some damage, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, wasn't his dad in a corner at the time against Blackburn, told him not to keep going to the head, and then he went to the head anyway. I'm sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. So,
yeah,
you know,
he did. Yeah. No, because in that Nick
that
Blackwell fight, no disrespect, but Eubank Jr. kept hitting him with the hook. He kept leaning, pushing him back, and then going like that, and he just kept hitting him like.
I'm
Over
sure his
and
dad
over
was
and
saying to him, stop him to the body. You don't need to keep going. He's struggling in there. It's not up to us whether the ref or their corner they've got to stop it and protect the fighter. So Eubank Jr. was a little bit overzealous there, and I think maybe needs to reflect on that a little bit. At the end of the day, that me and you could have a back and forth, and all other YouTubers about the adverse findings and did he get it from eggs and where did he get it from? We can hide, but at the end of the day, the relevant governing bodies have cleared him to fight, right? This isn't anything new. We've had this with Jarrell Miller. We have multiple fighters, you know, Dennis McCann, who are getting banned. At the end of the day, he's been cleared.
Tyson Fury, loads, all of them.
So they've just got to get on with it now. But what Eubank Jr. is doing is he's using this to rile him. For whatever reason, he wants him going into the fight emotional, I think, in the hope that he just punches himself out. But it could backfire. Backfire. This could
he's
definitely kind of bend the edge. So there we are.
He's definitely doing it to wind him up. Definitely. Here we go.
Smarter than you.
Was there drugs in your system?
This is you talking personal.
Was there drugs in your system?
Maybe not. None of your
Okay.
business. I've been cleared 3 times.
It is.
Do you accept that these substances were found in your body?
There's nothing to accept.
No.
It's the facts.
No?
No.
It's the facts.
Because
I never took anything knowingly. I never took.
But that's a different question.
Yeah.
Whether you took it knowingly or not, do you accept that they were
I struggle
found?
to accept it still.
Because you don't want to accept it.
I struggle to accept it.
Let's say that he
Well, hang on,
was an
hang on,
accident.
Chris.
No, I need to say
But
that.
that's
Let's say it was an accident.
No, but he's.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
No, but that's first of
He
all.
didn't know how the drugs got into
Wait,
his
wait a
system.
second. First of all, let's acknowledge the fact that he's accepted.
I don't need to acknowledge anything.
Well, I know you don't need to, but I do. And the viewer.
I just got to pause it here. What the fuck is the deal with Piers Morgan? Like, could he fire up Conor Benn's arse? He's proper like trying to defend him. He's proper trying to defend him. Like, he's been exonerated. Like, he won't leave it alone. All right, you think he's a cheat, wants to cheat, always going to cheat. You don't believe his excuses. You just think he's got off on a technicality, whatever. Let's talk about the fight. All Piers Morgan was about is trying to persuade Chris Eubank Jr. to believe.
Yeah.
And Chris Eubank Jr., he's not that bothered because he's making loads of money. He's doing this fight for the fucking dough, and he's using that to wind the fuck up of Conor Benn and to get all the outraged boxing fans who hate drug cheats on his side, hating fucking Conor Benn, and he's doing a wonderful job of it.
He's doing well. And I don't know whether it's because I know Piers Morgan, he alludes to it, whether we've got it or not, that he spoke to Conor Benn a couple of years ago on the show, and Conor Benn was quite upset. I think what it probably is Piers Morgan might have a soft spot for Conor and his dad, and he's probably a little bit biased. That's probably what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm just surmising that.
Okay.
I do. And the viewers, I think, for the point of view
The
of the
drugs were in his
viewers,
system, whether he knew about them or
I'm
not.
going to come to that.
They were in his system.
Chris, I'm going to come to that. For the purposes of the interview, though, and for the viewers watching, that's an important admission.
We've got it.
Now, hang on.
We've got it.
Hang on.
But it still
Let me
doesn't.
hang-
It still
let
doesn't
me-
mean you're not guilty.
Let me conduct the interview how I want to conduct it. I will come to you for that point you're making now. Because you asked the question, and I asked it on your behalf, and we got a concession from Conor that, yes, the substances were in his body, but you didn't take it deliberately, is your position.
I never took anything. That's
Right.
it. Never took anything.
Never certainly knowingly.
Never.
Now, your point is that from that moment, and there'll be a lot of people who agree with you, that from that moment, raiding bodies investigate and they make a conclusion. And rather like a criminal court, people may not like the conclusion, they may still suspect that person. But if you've gone through due process, and no one can argue he didn't, he went through due process for
3 times.
years, right? It nearly ruined him. And I saw him at his darkest moment in here, and it was dark.
Of not knowing that how the drugs got in his system, you're still guilty.
Do you accept that can happen?
Because
Do you accept that can
as a
happen?
fighter, it is your job.
Let's go pause it again. Just a quick. Like, Piers Morgan, what kind of interview is this? Is this an interview about Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr.? Or is this an interview, I must persuade Chris Eubank Jr. that Conor Benn is innocent? Like, what? He's banging on about it again. Like, he just can't leave it alone.
Yeah, but Eubank Jr., I think he holds his ground well. You know, he doubles down on his thoughts, and fair play to him. He holds the centre of the ring, and I think he come out. I thought he handled all this tremendously, Eubank Jr. And yeah, he's using it to obviously rile Conor Benn up.
Yeah,
but
it's smart.
Piers, yeah, it is what it is.
And
Piers Morgan's going to do what he does. That's kind of what he does, you know.
Yeah, no, but you think that he'd ask some questions like about boxing. All he's asked you is about about drug cheating so far, and how Conor Benn's innocent now, and Chris Eubank Jr. needs to accept it. He's not asked anything about the fight, or he did ask a little bit of the history about the fight, but that was it.
Yeah, he obviously wanted to go a different angle for whatever reason.
Yeah. All right.
Job to know everything you are eating, drinking, putting into your system. If you don't monitor it, and somebody slips something in somewhere, which I do not believe, but if that's what he's trying to say happened, it's still your fault, you're still guilty, you're still a drugs cheat, and we still have to make an example of it.
Conor, you've said to me before, it's been your position, I think, that you believe it may have come from contaminated eggs.
Hey!
Is that still your position about it? Is that what you think is the...
The case is done. I'm not here to talk about the case at all.
Don't want to talk about
I'm only asking because he hit you with an egg, obviously.
He can do what he wants. He's an idiot. And he's an idiot that's going to get chinned come April 26. Period. Irrelevant of what it was. The start.
Who was the one that said, I don't hate that man, is similar to me. He doesn't harbor emotion like the Benns do.
We've actually got that clip, actually. Let's take a look at that.
This man is nothing but he's the real hype. I come up the hard way. I didn't have Frank Warren. Myself, boy. You had your time. Let's have some parliamentary procedure here, all right? I have nothing to say to Nigel. I find the man intolerable in that he's so wild. I have no time for such people. He has no class as far as I see it. About Nigel Benn, I would say this. The man is a powerful puncher, a very powerful puncher. For this, I would like his autograph, because after I've finished with him, he isn't going to be anybody.
I personally do hate him.
So is there any point in me asking you to shake hands after signing the contract?
No.
Well, gentlemen, all four of you, thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Chris, because they have a very good relationship, Conor and his dad. You do not currently have a relationship at
They
all,
are
as far as
their
I'm aware, with your
father's sons,
father.
aren't they?
What's going on there?
That
I'll tell you what, they are their father's sons, aren't they, Chris?
carbon
It's like
copy.
carbon copy.
Fucking hell. That's full circle? That's like full circle, but do you know
Yeah.
what? That's an iconic moment, yeah. If anyone doesn't know about British boxing, the rivalry, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank Senior, check it out. But let's have some parliamentary procedure here, please. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't need to look at him. I'm talking to you. I'm addressing you.
And then
Oh,
it's funny how
man.
Nigel Benn didn't want to shake his hand because and then Chris Eubank Jr. in this interview was the one that didn't want to shake Connor's hand. So it's like a reversal.
Yeah, mad.
Going on there?
The worst thing Connor's done is put question marks
Well, let's come to that.
on
I'm gonna
Ben's
come to-
name.
I will-
Let me talk.
Okay.
He's put question marks against the Ben name because, as they say, like father, like son. So if he's capable of cheating, did his father cheat?
I've shown more integrity and resilience.
That's the question that now arises.
You have done your whole career.
That's now the question that arises.
Then you have done your whole career. You're
Like father,
choosing
like
to
son.
fight a welterweight.
I don't
That's you.
I
That's
don't
you.
believe his father didn't know what he was doing. I just don't believe
As I
it.
say, cleared 3
So
times
that
by
means
people who
that
are a lot smarter
Nigel
than you.
Benn could have been capable of doing the same thing in his career. That's
You don't know that.
no, I don't.
You're
But
just
that's the
talking rubbish. You're
questions
just
now.
talking
That's the
rubbish.
questions that have now arisen
talking rubbish.
because
You
of
know
what
what?
he did.
You're an idiot.
Okay, but before we get to questions like that may or may not have arisen, and they've arisen.
So I'm just going to stop it there. So, remember the Gerald McLennan fight, yeah? Do you remember? A lot of
Can't
people won't
forget that.
know this. So, obviously, around that time, Nigel Benn was hanging around a lot with Carlton Leach, Essex Boys, Tony Tucker, them guys. In fact, for that Gerald McLennan fight, they actually walked him into the ring. And he'd been knocked out by Michael. He'd been knocked out by Chris Eubank Senior, Nigel Benn prior to this. And then he's fighting the most devastating, dangerous man at middleweight who's moving up to super middleweight. And the guy knocks him out the ring in like the first or second round. And then Nigel Benn comes back in. So because of that performance and because of how hard this guy fought hits and he's already been stopped, everyone was saying that Nigel Benn was on steroids for that fight. There was all accusing him. They was all accusing him for that. And now Chris Eubank Jr. has stirred the pot because not a lot of people will remember that unless you're the hardcore fans. But do you remember them accusations? Like, he got knocked out. How did he win?
Not only all of that, after the fight, when Nigel Benn was walking back to the dressing room, he fell over unconscious. And this is just pure speculation. People are hypothesized that he did that so he didn't have to be tested. But
yes. He didn't have to be drug tested immediately after the fight, went to hospital, and he gets cycled out your system, doesn't it? Because they pump him full of fluids,
to give some parliamentary procedure in his defence, because we have to be impartial. Nigel Benn, in response to that, said, "I passed out because of physical exhaustion after an exhausting fight. That's why." So we have to give both. We have to give both sides, but that's up to people what they think. We're never going to know, so it is what it is.
And under no circumstances are we at Boxing UK accusing Nigel Benn of anything. And he never failed a drug test ever. Never had a scare in his whole career. Consummate professional, consummate athlete, and I would never believe it. I know Eubank Jr.'s just saying this because obviously his dad was accused of it back in the day, and he's using it as another tactic to hit him where it hurts.
He's trying to raise the Eubank name's legacy, and he's trying to lower the Benn name. That's what he's trying to do. It's a power play.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and it's kind of working, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because he's shit up. Yeah, I'm sure Nigel Benn doesn't want to be explained that again.
You've been putting them out there. But just on the relationship with your dad, what was the catalyst for you getting fractured as a father and son? It must be a very sad thing in your life that you're estranged.
Boxing teaches you
To capture the WBC world title. But this will be my only fight at this weight.
And for you, Chris, you're significantly older. What would it mean to potentially get a world title fight out of this?
I'm a 3-time IBO world champion, super middleweight and middleweight. And outside
They were interim titles.
no, they were full world title belts.
Did you?
3-time IBO.
Just gotta pause it there.
3-time
Wow.
IBO.
Number one, you can tell Paige is a fucking casual
Interim.
because he
What
knows
about?
he knows the IBO regarded as a proper world title, so he's just assuming it's one of them interim Mickey Mouse Continental ones because he doesn't know shit about boxing. He doesn't know it is actually a belt with a sanctioning body, but no one regards it as a world title. He just thinks it's like an interim title.
Still something. At the end of the day, most people aren't going to earn an IBO, but yeah, it is a little bit of a bit
and
of a
that's
weird
why
one.
he's not even asking them any questions really about boxing. It's all about, tell me about your feelings, Chris. You and your father haven't spoken. How many years? I don't know. A few years.
Yeah.
But that could be 2 years, 10 years. How long haven't you spoken to your father? It's like, fucking hell. Are you trying to make him cry on TV or something? What's going on?
I think this is the difference between a mainstream journalist and a bot. He just has
Sure.
conducted the interview because he wanted a different angle, and that's what he's gone with. So just to try, because you have to think with Piers Morgan, he wants to get all those views and clicks and get them all
Yeah.
rolled. That's just what he does. He does that with all his interviews. That's just him.
Bellend.
Yeah, he's a bit of a psychopath.
Did you feel that they were as valid as?
Absolutely.
Just
Regardless
people
of what
people
other
have
people
questioned,
say,
yeah.
regardless of, how they view those titles, to me, I was a world champion. I am a world champion.
Do you believe that, Conor?
No, not at all.
It doesn't matter what
He's asking me my opinion. My opinion is no. I got offered to fight for the IBO world title against Sebastian Formella, who I beat convincingly. But I chose not to fight for the IBO world title so I don't lose my ranking in the legitimate other organisations, which is why I'm top 5 in the WBA, WBC, IBF and WBO. Because I chose not to fight for the IBO world title just to say I'm IBO world champion. The reality is he fought for the IBO in a leisure centre in front of 2,000 people.
I fought for the IBO at the O2 in front of
2,000
20,000.
people. Who was it? Quinlan? Who was it? Renaud Quinlan?
James DeGale.
No, Renaud Quinlan, was it?
I'm 2-time.
Was it Renaud Quinlan?
2-time.
Was it Renaud Quinlan?
One was against
13
James
and
DeGale.
2 from Australia.
Have you ever
Was
fought
it?
in front of
Was it?
20,000 people
Was it?
headline?
Actually, not headline, but I have.
No, you haven't.
But again,
Exactly.
what you've done is summed up your whole career. That's your greatest accomplishments. I'm still 28. I've got time. You ain't. You're an old
long,
AP.
kid. Not for long.
You're an old age pensioner, mate.
You think you've got time. You've
of
actually
course
got This is not a time to be cordial. If there's ever a day that he comes clean about what happened and why it happened, why he failed those drugs tests, then we can talk about shaking hands. Until that time, no respect will be given to this kid. None.
Even though he's just magnanimous.
That was so hard for me to do, by the way.
Well, I know.
And it was so hard for me to not slap you across the face when we had that face off. So hard. And my mum will be really proud of me because I promised I wouldn't do anything stupid. And I like to just point out that was so hard for me to do.
Oh.
Probably one of the hardest things I've had to do in a long time.
Fight's going to be a lot harder.
Oh, it's going to be easy work. You're easy work. I'm going to flatten you quicker than Smith.
You
You're
can't even shake each other's hand.
I could shake
I know
his hand.
you've offered to, but you won't do that.
What would it achieve?
I just
Apart
think the
from
fact
giving you views.
it doesn't give me any views.
So why are you asking us to do it? I told
Because
you I don't want to do it.
I think that actually it is a noble sport, and that although you're going to be getting in a ring and pounding each other's heads in, actually you can also at the same time have a mutual respect for the fact you're both professional boxers and
Piers.
and you both know what that entails.
He has no class. He just slapped me around the head with an egg. You think he's going to shake my hand? He has zero class.
I've shaken the hands of pretty much every man I've ever fought. But if you cheat, that respect, it goes out the window. I'm sorry.
Your opinion.
I have to make an example. You know, there are kids that are going to watch this. They need to understand, if you get caught,
Cleared.
you lose everything. You lose your respect, you lose your name, you lose your life.
But why don't you accept that he's been cleared by all the
I don't
official
want to keep
bodies?
going over it, Piers.
Oh, here we go again. Shut up, Piers.
Oh, pausing it.
Yeah.
Are you?
I've only got a few
um,
minutes, Chris, just to let you know.
All right. Are you? Is he a Conor Ben's payroll or something? He's just like. Again, why can't you accept? It's like he's trying to force him to accept it. You don't.
He
It's
won't
crazy.
let it. He like a dog with a bone with it the whole interview. It just kind of spoiled it a bit, but
Over it, Piers.
Yeah, but why
Yeah.
don't you accept
He
it?
got caught with performance enhancing
So
drugs.
why
in the
fight
system.
him? Why not say I refuse to fight this guy?
Because
needs
this
money.
fight is it's unprecedented. It's never happened in the history of boxing, and he's going to fight anyway. That's what happens. People fail drugs tests. and
Cleared,
come
no
back.
ban. Cleared,
Cleared
no
or not
ban,
cleared?
no fine. Oh, of course it matters.
They come
I've
back
shown
into the
more
ring and they
integrity in the
continue
past
on their
2 years than
careers.
you have
You
done
don't
your
have
whole
to fight
career.
him.
I don't have to, but
But you've
I want
chosen
to.
to.
I want to.
So you're fighting, but you won't shake
It's
his hand.
contradicting. He's
No.
an idiot.
But people will think there's a contradiction there.
Good. That's okay. I'm an enigma, as they say. Some people don't understand me. I'm not here to be understood. I'm here to set an example, and I'm here to get this kid out of boxing.
Conor, I want to, just before we finish, I want to play a clip from when.
It was a matter of, I've done everything I can. I've
Well,
handled
that's an
it.
interesting point. I mean, Chris, what more could he have done? I mean, be honest with me. What more could he have done than what he did?
What more?
To say to your desire to disprove the fact he cheated, what more could he possibly have done?
What more he could have possibly done is he could have not failed those drugs tests. It's as simple as that. If you fail, you're a cheat for the rest of your life.
Listen,
But that's not always true, is it?
It's true to
There are a number of sportsmen, male and female, who every year fail drugs tests, but it turns out after they're investigated, it is not proven they did so deliberately, whatever the substance may be, and they're allowed to continue performing. So it's not true that everyone who fails tests is automatically a cheat.
In my eyes, if you fail, in my eyes, if someone was to have pinned him down and jabbed a syringe into the side of his ass and squeezed it in, if that had happened and I saw it, guess what? He's still a cheat. He shouldn't have let it happen. It's his responsibility to protect himself at all times. He didn't do that. He's a cheat. End of story.
I'll give you one last chance.
Don't ask me again, Piers.
Just shake his hand.
Don't ask me again.
I tried. Thank you both for your time, and may the best man win.
Fuck
will.
you,
He will.
Piers.
Well, I mean, the only bit we missed in there, wasn't it, when the security they got a little bit rowdy.
Yeah.
We didn't have that little bit in there, but
Yeah, but you only see that in the highlights, like at the start.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
it's not, watch
yeah.
the show twice. You don't actually see it in the show. They just put that on the advert to make you watch it. It's not in the show
Yeah.
one bit.
I think I saw it live I think I saw it live. But anyway, overall, kind of my final thoughts on it are, I'm sort of ebbing and flowing a little bit. I think my overall thought is that Eubank Jr. is playing a bit of a blinder, because I think what he's trying to do is get Conor Benn nervous energy, emotional energy, angry, which could work both ways. I think what he's trying to do is to get him to go in from round one and just to go all guns blazing and just to try and use his experience, weather the storm, and then just pick him off later on.
Yeah.
But it could also go the other way, and it might just give Conor Benn that extra 10, 20%. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really interested now because there's a lot riding on this.
I know. I just want to see it win. To be honest, I want Eubank Jr. to win. Like, I don't care about the drug cheats. Like, I'm not interested in all that. Yeah, but I was a fan of Senior. Like, out of Nigel Benn and Senior, I always like Senior better. And I just think Conor Benn's young. He can come again. It's not his weight class. And I just think, yeah. Do
you know, I don't even have a preference, Chris, for it, because I like them both. I do. They're very different characters, but they're very much their father's sons. They're very much apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They're very similar to their dad, just the way they talk, their demeanour, everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I like them both. I don't really have a preference who I want to win. Who I think will win, I'm edging slightly towards Eubank Jr. now, actually. I've flipped.
No, I am. I think
the rehydration, I think it all depends on how tight he comes in at the weight. If he's right on that 7 pound limit or whatever it is that they've imposed, could be dicey. I'm just not sure, if I'm honest, really honest. I don't know how much power Conor Benn's going to carry up to middleweight, because he's not an overly massive. He's not a huge welterweight, to be honest with you.
No. Obviously, like I said before, when he was in that Dobson fight at light middleweight, he was smacking. He was smacking Dobson with everything but the kitchen sink, and it weren't really doing anything to him.
And Dobson has a good chin, but I would have expected Conor to stop him in that fight, but he didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So it just goes to show the power's not really carried up. But I'm going Eubank Jr. I just think more experience. He's too big, and he's getting in the mind games early. He's getting in Conor Benn's head a little bit, frustrating him, getting him mad.
I agree. But we'll be doing a preview in April leading up to the fight. So like and subscribe, all that, leave some comments. We're going to do a full preview, guys. Break it down, what we think's going to happen. So yeah. But yeah, it was great. Good interview, other than Piers Morgan getting a bit too into wanting to get too emotional with it. But
I want to know about your feelings. Why is your dad not speaking to you? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, Conor, do you remember when you was on my show and I consoled you and you was really sad? It's like, fuck hell, mate. Talk about the fight. Jesus Christ.
Oh. Yeah.
Or talk about the egg. Like, what's going on with the egg? And if you don't want to talk about it, move on. And if you don't want to accept that I don't accept it that he was eating eggs, then you don't have to accept it.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Like and sub. Boxing Bros UK, we're out.
Stay tuned for the next one.